Welcome back to the Why You Are Alive on Earth video series. This is part 3, which I like to subtitle, Your Amazing Portal into the Space-Time Continuum. That makes it sound important. Please watch parts 1 and 2 before watching part 3. I am your host, Vern Blanchett, and in this part of the video series, I want to talk to you about how a person is actually made. In part 2, you learned that we are made of dust. This dust, the Bible talks about, is made up of atoms and molecules. So how can it form a person? My wife says, what a fantastic question. How can the dust form a person? Someone may argue that we are not just made of dust, but that we are made of organic molecules, maybe. We're made of DNA, blood, and many other highly complex biological assemblies. If you hear this, remember that organic molecules, DNA, blood, and everything else in our bodies, they are made of atoms, the basic dust of our world. You cannot get beyond the fact that as complex and wonderfully made as our bodies are, the human body and all its parts, down to the cellular level, and parts inside the cells, are made of atoms. Atoms are the basic particular dust of the earth. This is why in this video, we will sometimes refer to your human body as your dust body or earth suit, to constantly remind you that your body is made of dust. But atoms, molecules, blood, DNA, and even the most complex organic molecules in your body, they cannot utter a single word. No, not one. They cannot love. They cannot speak. They cannot desire. They simply make up parts that combine to make a chemical life form we call the human body. The human body is a very complex, self-sustaining chemical reaction maintained by energy exchanges in the body's cells and ultimately expressed in cellular reproduction for growth and for repair. The human body uses energy from food to animate itself and keep its chemical processes going. Food is just another form of clumps of atoms. For example, sugar molecules, which are made of carbon and hydrogen atoms. So food is just another form of dust. Eventually, this complex, ongoing chemical reaction fails. It fails. All the body's processes stop working, and the body disintegrates back into inanimate dust. This is the dust the Bible is speaking about in this passage. This is from Genesis 3:19 in the Old Testament of the Bible. It says, "You shall work, and it's by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread, up until the day you return unto the ground. For out of the ground you were taken, for you are dust, and unto dust you shall return." That's the word of the Lord, the Creator. Look at it this way. This is a modern scientific way of looking at it. Sperm meets the egg at the instant of conception of a baby, and this wonderfully complex chemical reaction starts, and it continues, eventually forming a mass of cells in the shape of a new human body. Its growth follows the detailed instructions in the very first cell's DNA. But the body is just a chemical reaction that can be stopped by simply adding too much salt, as an abortionist may do to kill a baby in the womb, or stopped by shutting off the oxygen for 5 minutes, or stopped by various diseases or physical damage. It can even be stopped by injuries in an accident. I saw a hang glider on YouTube the other day who misjudged and ended up dying. It's an accident, but he's gone. His body's going back to dust. But here is an interesting puzzle. Observation tells us that every human body eventually dies. Yes, it does. And we observe that when this happens, nothing remains of the person. Where did the person go? The body decays back into dust, and the person no longer communicates with us. Yet, curiously, the Bible tells us people can live forever. Oh, wait a minute. If people can live forever, if this Bible claim is true, it should be obvious to you that the body, which is a chemical reaction, cannot possibly be a person. Let's say that again. This is really important. If people can live forever, then the human body, which is a chemical reaction, cannot possibly be a person. You see, an ongoing chemical reaction can look like a living person, but that's not real life, because when the body dies, nothing remains but atoms. It goes back to dust. The DNA and everything, gone. It's not gone, but it's turned back to dust. If you argue the body is the person, then you have to conclude that the person you knew cannot continue to exist because the body returns to dust. That's just the way it is. Well, good grief. Was the appearance of a person just another illusion? Is the Bible wrong? After all, it says, the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. These are good questions, and you should have thought about them a long time ago. Let's think about them now, if you haven't. The Bible is not wrong. Look carefully at what the Bible actually says God did. This time we will use the actual Hebrew meaning of what the King James Bible scholars translated as breath. This is from Genesis 2:7. It says, "And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and he breathed into his nostrils the spirit of life, and man became a living soul." Notice three things about this passage. First of all, Genesis 2:7 says God formed your body from dust of the ground. In modern language, this means that atoms in the food your mother ate passed into her bloodstream. They passed through the placenta and into your baby body's bloodstream. These atoms, just earth dust, were then used by the ongoing chemical reactions in your cells to allow your body to grow and multiply. This passage also tells us that something has been added to the body made of dust. The Creator gave your body the spirit of life. This is crucial. This was a divine inspiration, including intellect, soul, and spirit. He breathed you into your body. Number 3, the word breath, as used here, is a Hebrew word meaning a divinely inspired spirit. Thus, Genesis 2:7 is saying that God gave the dust, the baby's body shaped like you, a spirit that has life, and you became a living soul. This means life is the spirit, not in the miraculous arrangement of the atoms that make up the body. The Bible did not say God made a living pile of dust, but instead he used the human body-shaped atoms and molecules to be connected with the real you, the spirit you. He calls you a living soul. Your spirit is the true you that looks into nature through your eyes and manipulates things in the physical world or natural world through your physical body, which the Creator designed for that purpose. This concept is reinforced by what the Bible says happens to the human body when a person dies. Here's what happens to you when you die, from Ecclesiastes 12:7. This is the absolute truth, so listen. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Wow! This clearly shows that the body returns as dust to the earth, taking with it all its DNA. It can do nothing else because the body is only dust, atoms and molecules, which, by the way, are mostly empty space anyway. The exciting part of all this is that the spirit God breathed into the dust returns to Him. Death of the body does not destroy the spirit. We will see this is truly life-changing information. Now, review what we just went over until your mind finally sees through the powerful illusion that you're just a body. That's all you are. You're just a body. When you die, you're going to just go back to dust. You're gone. You might think you're just your body. This false idea is the mirage, the dangerous illusion. And why is it dangerous? Listen closely. Because you are not your body. And like the wagon master, you can make wrong decisions or fail to make important choices throughout your life based on this false idea that you are just a body. We'll talk more about this later. You are actually a spirit inhabiting your physical body, and you look out through your body's eyes, which, as the poets say, are the windows to the soul. You see, an ongoing chemical reaction, your body, cannot be a person. Why? Because it will come to an end. But people live forever. That's you. People live forever. The life that is you is spirit, not dust or molecules. Your spirit uses the body's senses, sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, to live in and experience the natural world on earth. You can think of the human body as like a portal for a human spirit to participate in the natural world. This should be a comfortable concept to grasp if you are a computer gamer. It's now possible to buy virtual reality helmets that encase the game player's head and provide both sound and visual scenes. Here's a picture of some of these special helmets and goggles. This type of helmet immerses the player in whatever universe the computer generates in three-dimensional moving pictures and stereo sound. With the helmet on, you could be looking at the surface of Mars with visions of rust-colored sand and listening to the faint whistling of Martin wind blowing past your spacesuit or spaceship. Or you could be looking at a jungle ruin deep in the Amazon basin, hearing the sound of jungle drums and the natives dancing in the distance. These deeply immersive experiences can give you the sensation that you're actually on Mars or deep in the Amazon jungle. Now, other players wearing their own helmets and connected to their own computers, sometimes clear around the world from you, can join you in this game via the internet. In those artificial worlds, you see and interact with other players. And, in fact, that is exactly where you are. That is exactly where you are. You are a player in God's game of life, which is serious and real. In this game, you don't have to wear a helmet because you're inside your physical body with all the sights, sounds, and sensations being fed to you, the spirit inside. You are a spirit, not a body. Look around you and you'll see others who are in this extravagant, fantastic, unbelievable, instructional illusion we call being live on earth. Some of you watching this may have seen the 1999 science fiction movie, The Matrix. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty good movie. It's fun to watch. Where in The Matrix, a computer hacker guy, his name is Neo, discovers that a powerful computer has subjugated most of the human race. All of the subjugated humans are attached to the computer, and they spend their entire lives sleeping in they look like capsules or coffins, while the computer keeps their bodies alive and networks their mental energy, whatever that means. They don't talk about that in the story, but the computer is controlling them. What these humans think as the real world is nothing but a dream state. They're just laying there, going through their lives and talking to the people and all that stuff, and it's really just a big dream. A team of renegades, which we call the free humans, struggle with this computer to free other people and bring them back to the real world. They free the protagonist, the story's hero. His name is Neo, and the plot continues from there. What you really are and where you live is far beyond the ideas presented in the Matrix. You live in the illusion that you're a physical body that came out of your mother's womb, and that you walk around in the natural world until one day your body dies, and that's the end of you. That this is not the truth. You are a spirit that uses the human body as a portal into the natural world. And there is no computer running the show. We'll talk about who's running the show, and you will discover he's not only wonderful, but he has your best interest in mind. You were created for him. You were created to know him and be in loving relationship with him forever. Wow, this can be an extraordinary concept to connect with, to realize you are not what you see in the mirror. It's exciting to discover this truth and to throw off the illusion you're only the body that you see. Try this experiment. The next time you're with a group of people, use your mind to think of each of the people you see as bodies made of dust. Just dust, just complex chemical reactions, walking around the room doing their things, okay? And in each of her individual shape, of course. Then think of the actual persons inside those earth suits as spirits. Look at someone, let's call him John just for a reason, for example, and think there's a spirit named John inside that body made of atoms. Watch as that spirit person moves its earth suit. Watch as it talks and communicates the spirit John's feelings with facial expressions and gestures of the hands and arms. Try it, thinking only that a person's spirit inside that body is making it move. At some point, you should start to get the odd sensation that the world is not so predictable any longer. It becomes strange and wonderful at the same time. A sense of amazement may come over you. In a way, like Neo in the Matrix, you've taken Morpheus's red pill. Now, you remember the scene in the movie, those of you have seen it, the movie The Matrix, where Neo is given the choice between taking a blue pill or red pill. Okay? If he chooses the blue pill, his memory of the contact with true reality, the free humans, will be erased, and he will live out his life in the computer control matrix, laying in his coffin, just dreaming, ignorant of the truth. But if he takes the red pill, Morpheus tells him, "You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes." In other words, Neo will begin to see truth clearer and clearer, and it will astound him. When that sense of amazement happens, your mind has broken through the powerful illusion that has been controlling you since birth. And you are starting to realize the truth about where you really are, who you really are, and how valuable you really are. But wait, there are more exciting things for you to find out about yourself. Huge implications flow out of the fact that people are spirits and not just dust bodies. You are much more than you think. Does all this sound a little wacky to you? If so, consider the thirsty man who's just pointed at the desert Mirage Lake, way off and out in the desert, and he's told you he's betting his life on hiking out there to reach the water. You say to him, "Don't go, that's a mirage, there's no water out there." He answers, "You're crazy, man. I can see the water shimmering in the distance. I can see it with my own eyes, so I know it's there. I'm thirsty and I'm going. He is totally fooled by the illusion, and he will die believing it. Even though you're speaking truth to him, his belief in what his eyes tell him will kill him. But you are safe from going after that illusion because your belief is different from his. Your mind holds a belief based on truth. This demonstrates that what you believe or don't believe can kill you. On the other hand, knowing the truth can protect you from harm. Truth in your thinking is very important. That's precisely why you need to see the rest of this video series, for there's real danger in living out your entire life blinded by the illusion you are nothing but a body. More on this later. Now, wouldn't it have been nice if the creator of the universe had just given us more details about where we are, who we are, and why we were created? Why didn't he do that? Well, on second thought, he did give us this information. Perhaps the problem is not his communication skills, but that we humans have never bothered to study the book he created for us called Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. I think he wants us to read it with an open and inquiring mind and believe the truth he has put there. Okay, now that we know what we really are, let's dig a little deeper in part 4 of this video series as we investigate what it really means to be born, or how is a person really made, and what does it mean to be born. We will look into the subject of the creation of a human being right down to the atomic level and see what the Creator has revealed about that process. You will find it fascinating. I hope to see you over there.